I'm Diego Cortez, but I'm Schoenfeld. Welcome to The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker.
Welcome.
Adam, they used to call you the Jewish pirate when you were first coming up in poker, and you used to wear big bandana.
A hook, and I would roam the seas and an eye patch.
And you had a big bandana with the Star of David on it and the whole get-up.
I was like a Mike Rossman, but poker.
That's a good reference from our youth. Well, today we have the Italian pirate, Max Pescatori. But the thing about Max is he just won his second World Series bracelet in 3 years.
He's not clowning around.
And he's not. And also he's won a bunch of other tournaments too. I mean, he's won a bunch of events and cashed high in a bunch of events at Bellagio. So he's the real deal, a guy who's been successful here for a while and who's also kind of the godfather of the Italian poker scene. So it's going to be fun to talk to him. So Max, now you've won your second gold bracelet. And right on the heels, you inspired your countryman Dario Manieri to win a bracelet as well. So this is a new Italian wave of poker players, apparently.
It is. Actually, later on they told me the other Italians, because we not only had only Manieri winning, also Dario Liotto finished fourth in the Omaha, which he was struggling at the beginning of the World Series. And we had Alessio Isaia finishing sixth in another event. So we really had a chance of unbelievably 4 bracelets in 1 week.
But even
we
two from Italy is pretty
for Italy
strong.
is great, especially because it's a young country for poker. So and
very much so.
The fact that the stars are winning just brings more enthusiasm into the poker world in Italy. So.
Is there an Italian style of play? Because in soccer, Italy has a very known style.
The cinema.
Well, no, but I mean, they play the catenaccio. They have this defensive style. In film, Italy, the Italian directors had a very specific style. Is there a poker style that the Italians have defined? Maybe that you've influenced?
I don't think we do have a particular style, because Manieri and myself were so different. And Aliotto is almost a combination of our two. We really... Manieri is just a hyper-aggressive player.
Right. 21 years old, or 22 years old, young guy.
He was a scarf, you were a bandana.
How do you describe your style?
Well, I adjust. I mean, I have to... I play the table the day that I just take advantage of whatever opportunity I have in front of me. Manieri cannot do that, but at the same time, he's so much more aggressive than me. He has, let's say, more guts than me when he plays. Yeah. He's relentless. I mean, he just raises and raises.
He's got one gear, but it's a strong gear.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and people sometimes they think, "Oh, he just doesn't understand. He just doesn't understand." But the point is, when someone raises and re-raises and re-raises, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, when you're 7-handed into a final table of the World Series and you pick up ace-jack and you know this guy's going to re-raise you, but now you're scared of saying, what if this time he has ace-queen?
Right. You're second in chips and there's $1 million difference.
Should you challenge him or just almost, gamble and get out? It becomes very difficult, especially when the prices are high, when the stakes are high, when a bracelet is right there, ready to win. And
the best example is in the main event. For a lot of people, the main event not only is the most important tournament, for some people it's the only tournament. Some people are not like us who are playing a lot of tournaments. They just come out just to play that, or they might have won a satellite. It might even be the only time in their life they play it. So they're not going to risk their whole tournament on a questionable...
Right, and he takes away a lot of games from a lot of people, because he'll be raising 7 out of 10 hands, and now you're in late position, but you've got 7-8 suited, which you wanted to play, but now you re-raise him, now he moves in on you.
Last year at some point, I think he had like 2 million in chips, and the next guy had less than 1 million in chips. I mean, he had like a 2x.
And actually, he told me, oh, maybe I should have come to you and listened to you a little bit. But the concept is, I mean, you're playing for so much money, you're playing for such a gigantic title there, that it's really hard for someone to go. I mean, I could have coached him, but I can't go to someone and have the responsibility unless he comes to me and asks me for help. Well, so I stayed away, and he went how he went.
And it's a fine line, Adam and I have talked about, like, let's say in golf, you try to adjust your swing the way Tiger Woods did. Maybe you become a lot better, but you might also like David Duval or someone just lose it.
It's dangerous to take a young kid like Dario and try to change him, because he's done quite well with his very aggressive style, and you don't want to take that away from him necessarily.
You want him to make some adjustments, but you don't want him to lose the essence of what's made him successful.
Right.
So
I agree. In fact, he has to just play the way he wants to. Then he should discuss hands with me and Aliotto, because clearly there is a lot of talent there, and he can just pick up things. But then, at the end, every poker player should play with their own style. We can't just, unless someone is just growing up and he never played before, so you're trying to teach him, then it's a different story. But someone that is already successful, you just can't change it.
Right.
And we shouldn't.
But it's fantastic. I mean, a lot of people have won one bracelet, but to win two bracelets, that's a real smaller club. And I think a lot of people don't realize that you came on the scene a couple of years ago when you won your bracelet and you were on TV and people heard of you and they saw you with the Italian pirate outfit. But you'd been grinding and fighting in the Las Vegas games for a long time before that. I mean, you really have a background.
I do. I mean, around 1997, 1996, I had a job, like many jobs that I've done, that I had, and I always thought I'd just play on the side and keep my job. And
this was in Italy?
And learn. No, right here. Right here. And then in 1999, I turned pro. I said, I'm going to leave my job 100%. I will live with poker. And actually, it wasn't just poker. I actually bet horses. I used to do horse racing.
Poker.
It is tougher, but I was playing mostly horse racing tournaments, which people don't know what they are. But the concept is the same. You just pick horses against other people picking horses, and there is a pool. So I was doing that and poker, and so I was just playing cash game mainly. Then with the World Poker Tour, I started playing in few tournaments. The first 2 or 3 years, I didn't really play. I would show up maybe at the World Series, play a couple of tournaments here and there, just to get experience.
Right.
And then I started playing seriously the World Series, I believe, 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so, clearly having two bracelets in 2001 in 2006, one in 2008, now gives me even more confidence toward the future. And as you said, there is not too many people that have two bracelets. And especially, there is not too many people that have two bracelets in the last few years.
Yeah, with the big fields.
With the big fields and the competition. Clearly, I mean, the poker knowledge is so much higher than 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's harder to succeed, and it gives me even more.
When you made the transition to being a full-time pro, when you were playing live games, I mean, how did you educate yourself? How did you really make those steps that you needed to succeed at the game?
Well, I knew that I was a good cash game player, and what I've always seen was the people that play tournaments only and they will come to cash games were not that successful because they don't have the feel of the money that they have in front. But I knew that instead the cash game players, instead that they moved to tournaments, they were, some of them, successful. And so I just took it easy, and I didn't start right away on top. In fact, if you look at like my my results, they start like in Reno, where I went for a festival of like $100 and $200 tournaments.
Right.
So I could just learn. I didn't want to play a $10,000 tournament if I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And so I just did like some baby steps and go from the 200s then to like maybe the $500 tournaments and so on. And I think that allowed me, first, not to hurt my bankroll, and second, to earn the experience of how to act when I'm on the final table. Mm-hmm. And for example, one of the things that I did the Ultimate Poker Challenge with one of the first shows that they had on TV. And I made 8 final table that season.
I remember you were on every episode at the final.
That was great. The Plaza?
Yeah, I made 8 final tables and I didn't win one.
Right.
And the reason was clearly I didn't know how to manage either a chip lead or overcome a chip lead, and so. But that just allowed me to just learn and get experience. And now I think in the World Series I only have 3 final table, but 2 victories.
Yeah,
so now you know how to close.
Right.
And the way the money's given out, that's the key.
That's the key. That's the key. I mean,
a lot of 7th places don't pay the bills.
They don't. You end up losing for the World Series if you do even
Absolutely.
3, 4 final tables, but you make 9th, 8th, 9th.
People don't realize, talking to guys like Chris Ferguson or Alan Cunningham, guys who play a lot of events, they win. But the years that they don't win, people say, "Oh, great! You had 5 cashes and a 7th and a 12th,
they're buried,
and they're down $50,000 for or $100,000 for the whole series." Yeah, you need to make the big scores.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody who influenced you in particular? Any player who gave you any sort of guidance, even before you really transitioned to tournaments, just as you were growing as a poker player?
But there's so many players that actually influence your game. To me, there hasn't been like one particular that like took me under the wing and just taught me how to play. But there's just a series of one. Mm-hmm. And actually, the first one that I met was Walter Farina, which was the first Italian bracelet in 1995. But later on, more people I played with, and then more friends I got in the poker world. What happened? They start talking to you, and then you start discussing hands. Then when you have some victories, then they start like giving more consideration. So when I don't tell a bad beat story, I say, did I play this right?
Right.
And and most of players, there's so many people coming up to you and try to get them, and and you give them some respect. But when actually you win, then they come up to you and ask you the same thing. I remember Chip Jett was one of the first people that I met in Reno,
Me too.
in the poker world, let's say. And I remember he was one of at the top of the card player rankings that year. And I remember I went to Reno, and I won my first tournament ever, 2003, I believe. And then 2 days later, I won another tournament. So 2 tournament winnings in 3 days. And I remember I met Chip Jett through David Plastic, and introduced me to him, and he says, there's so many people that come up to me and want to meet me because now I'm at the top. But there's one guy that I want to meet, a guy that wins 2 tournaments in 3 days. and then we became friends, and we discussed some hands early on, and surely that helps my game.
Are you still playing lots of cash games, or are you specializing in tournaments now?
I can play cash games. I enjoy play cash games, but I do them mostly when I'm away from Las Vegas. When I'm in Las Vegas, I don't really play cash games too much, except for on Full Tilt. Let's say when I go to LA, there is some great games, and I stay in the hotel, so I have all day with me to play.
When you're living at the Commerce Hotel, that's all there is to do.
Yeah.
Play the cash games.
Oh no, they're the sites of commerce, all the nightlife.
I mean, they've got a great
Warehouse
system
district.
there because the rooms are very nice, the hotel is very nice. They lock you in there, and then as long as you're awake, you go downstairs and play. Because what else are you going to do? Just sit in your room.
Bike, which is 5 miles away.
Right, just sit there. Now with the emergence of the EPT, is that going to be a big thing, or is that already a big thing for you playing in all the EPT tournaments? Because that's grown so quickly.
Yeah, it has grown quickly, and especially I just saw how well they're organized, and the concept also that they had that I was trying to even tell people in this side of the world of having the more of a nation player. So when someone goes into a show, they're filming it, they say in the Swedish player, they put a flag of Sweden. So what happened is localization of the players when they go to an EPT, then they're recognizing the Swedish player, not just the name and where are you from. No, they know it. And what it is they get fans from their own country, and then it gets more popular.
Endorsements will follow, and
people are really into their national heroes.
They are in Europe a lot, and maybe something has been amiss here, in America at the beginning. And I think one of the success of the EPT was exactly that. So I played a few of events last EPT, but I will plan to play even more, next year, these upcoming years.
What about poker in? You said poker in Italy is really just taking hold now, and it'll help to have some stars emerging. But what's the poker world like in Italy right now?
It's exciting from the point of view that there is some official Italian licenses given out to to whoever wanted them, and they applied for it. The price was quite high, and also the restrictions were maybe not the best for most of businesses, because, for example, one of the things is you can't play a sit and go over $100, or some restriction that they're crazy. Then they also wanted to do only Italian players could play on the site. But the point is, if you give all these restrictions, then you end up that the players just find a way to play anywhere anyway.
Right, of course.
And so
you have to be able to compete, because people just go wherever they.
And plus, if you have a higher juice, why would anybody play on an Italian-only site when you can pay half a juice or a quarter of a juice on full tilt? So you end up that from September we're going to really know how it's going to work. But recently, one of the sites came out with like a package for the World Series for free, and it ended up being that, like, I don't know, they got like 60,000 sign up in like the first 2 weeks, and so I believe it's going to be gigantic poker in Italy. I actually did an interview with MTV 2 days ago, and today there is tomorrow there is MTV again that comes here, and it's a different program. And I said, well, I just did an interview with MTV. No, we're a different program, so I might do another one, just to show how big poker has become and how interested they are, all the producers and writers into poker players.
Fantastic. Now you've won 2 bracelets. You don't wear the kerchief, the bandana anymore? You're too big for that, or what's the...
No, I did wear in the final table.
You did, good.
Yeah, what I do.
No, I don't want to live in a world where Max doesn't have his costume.
And you had the full Italian.
I had right.
What a lot of people might remember, when you won your first bracelet, it was a day that Italy won the World Cup in soccer, which was the biggest thing in a long time. And this year, you won your bracelet, and Italy was fighting the European Championships, but they lost.
Results not as good.
This way, they didn't keep up with you.
They didn't. But I guess it's because Italy, in the last few years, even soccer players are playing poker more than soccer.
Really? That could be the connection?
Yeah, they're not focused.
They're just not focused into soccer right now. We're focused in poker, and that's why we have 2 bracelets in 1 week and several final tables. So.
It's fantastic.
And maybe more to come.
And more to come.
Maybe more to come.
We're still going, and there are other Italian players too who you've talked to me about who are also emerging. So
there is some true talent in Italy, and one of the things that allows us to have this is also that now that we establish, let's say, 4 or 5 or 6 big talent players, we talk to each other, and I can see also the perspective of this people that maybe they haven't played the U.S. Concept of poker, so their strategy, but they have some extremely interesting point of views that actually help my game, and they did. In this bracelet, talking to Dario Liotto helped my Pot Leminomaha game, which was really good anyway, but just few things can make it even better. And the difference, one of the great things was that the difference between the first and the second bracelet, which I haven't maybe mentioned, was that the first bracelet, it was unexpected. I mean, I never thought about winning it. Yeah, I could win it, but then I got lucky in one hand, 3-handed, then I made a great call, and then I ended up winning the bracelet. Right. In this one, it was like domination of the table. If you actually look at the updates, it was that I would win a pot, and I would win a pot, and I would win a pot, and then someone would get lucky and take like a third of my stack, and then I would win a pot, and I would win a pot. So it was completely different, and I felt like, just it was over, and so the joy wasn't as surprising. But
the satisfaction.
But the satisfaction was just different. It was great.
Well, we still got a little ways to go, so we'll look for you and for your countrymen. But thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining us on The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. Write to us at thescoop@cardplayer.com.
2 bracelets. Awesome.
Well, these aren't easy to win. I remember this one like it was yesterday. My opponent had me down to my left. Sorry. Anyway, it's down to my last few chips. So I had to call.
We play at FullTailPoker.com.